When solid, it's pulled out and the wick is cut off. Then it's packaged for sales. Production rate now, 6 years after work resumed, stands at 60 cartons a week, and disposing them is not a problem for Larry J.
I'm not saying anything. Along with the big one, I'm telling you this. I've been to Makodi now, as well as Kaduna. As I'm telling you now, I have a distributor in Benin who has sent about 55 cartons recently to him. Okay, just to face, okay.
Mr. Eniola Ayeni says that his business found its feet after accessing the fund from the partnership between Oyo State Government and the Bank of Industry. And some of the benefits include increase in output and diversification of products.
Okay, these are packages.
Some years before now, Nigerians wouldn't have thought of investing in making chalks. But with someone like Mr. Kehinde Akinade staying in this business for 16 years, that perception has obviously changed. However, this was not his perception when he started. He got into chalk making as a last resort.
During the period after my NYC in 1992, there wasn't any job. I engaged in menial job until I discovered this advert in the paper in 1998. I've never seen where they are producing chalk before in Nigeria. All this Britannia, I think, is from Britain. So I make inquiry. I did my feasibility study on it, and I approached the man that imported the mold into the country. I went for the training, and that's how I started the business on December 1st, 1998. When it homogenized, the mold has been set, so that is what
Although overlooked by a lot of people, he says it's a good business because it's a necessity and not a luxury product, and sales of about 500 cartons in a term attest to this.
Chalk will continue to sell as long as there is existence of schools, right from nursery, primary to secondary to the tertiary institution. And thank God for the government under State Universal Basic Education Board in Nigeria. They also purchase chalk in large quantity from us. So those are our markets. We sell to bookshops, stationery stores, and we go directly to schools at times. And we cover all the, at least adjoining states of the Southwest here, where we know that they will need our chalk.
Ideal school chalk goes through the normal production process of mixing POP with calcium carbonate. The essence of the calcium carbonate is to make the POP mild and make the chalk useful as a writing tool. Then the mixed portion is poured into the mold, which has 144 holes. This is left for about 10 minutes to solidify.
What do you have to say about the reality of?
At this time, it's taken shape but still wet, so it's spread on the pallet and exposed to air indoors or the sun outside. The indoor drying takes 6 days, while the outdoor approach takes just a few hours. Dried, it's packaged and ready for purchase.
It has come to the notice of the management of Bank of Industry, BOI, that some unscrupulous persons are defrauding the general public by claiming to be the bank's agents. BOI insists that it does not engage persons or organizations as its agent to sell application forms or receive completed loan applications on its behalf. If you are a genuine entrepreneur and prospective customer, Please freely walk into any of BOI's zonal offices nearest to you and obtain the application forms and list of requirements for accessing loans directly, free of all charges. You can also visit our website and social media platforms for other details. For more information, call our head office in Lagos 01271 5070-99 or Abuja Corporate Office 08073990022 www.boinigeria.com.
When people think of doing business in the textile industry, mostly it's either producing the fabrics or designing, sewing dresses. But have you ever thought of making socks? Well, there's an individual who has thought of it. She's thought of it for many years, and she's been doing it for many years. We're now at Hodelia Ventures in Lagos, and the managing director of the company is Mrs. Onyebuchi Adewale. She thought of making socks, and she's making money out of making socks. So tell us, how come you thought about making socks? It sounds odd.
It's so interesting to understand that beyond clothing, you can actually do something else. I try to describe to people that as far as sewing is concerned, it goes beyond just making clothes. You could sew a bra, you could sew t-shirts, you could make pants out of just sewing. But however, we decided that to do things, we need to do what we have to do and do it well. And that's why we chose socks. So socks is to help, it's a part of your dressing. It completes the dressing for a man and for little children. And then we looked at it beyond just dressing. Schools, in every school, you realize that you also need to complete the dressing of every child. And so with the socks, which is not readily at that time when we started, was not being produced, customized in Nigeria, we thought that, look, we could do something for school and you could have a regular source of income. And that's how we went into socks production.
Mrs. Adewale's dream come true through Hodelia Ventures is yet another baby of necessity, although in her case, passion also takes a chunk of the credit.
After my first degree, it was difficult for me to get a job immediately. So I stayed on with a friend of mine who happened to be a tailor. She was making wedding dresses, and that was her take. And after a few months, I realized that I love to sew. So what is it? And unfortunately, she refused to teach me how to sew because she thought that a graduate should never go into sewing. And I just stayed on with her, and by the husband's encouragement, I discovered that I could sew, and that was how I started sewing. So I started off doing the household clothing, the very simple ones, the bed sheets, the window blind, the pajama, that didn't need to have a lot of measurement. And after some time, I got a job. And then because of my passion is to serve God through humanity, to help people who don't have jobs. So I thought on my own that if I have a business, I'll be able to employ people. Believe me, that was what moved me to starting my own business. That look, I needed to help people to get jobs more easily. People who just have machines and don't know how to go about it could come and work for me, make the money, I make the money, and then we are all happy. And that was how I went into industry, and from there I realized that now it is not enough to go into the industry. You need to grow the business. So how do I grow the business? Now, we started off with the uniforms, and then it's like, where do we go from here? There are still other tailors who don't want to work with people. They want to get their own business. You can't force them to come and work for you. Now, I realized we needed to do something better than those tailors, and that was how we thought, a total structure of what are the school needs, from books to shoes to uniforms to socks. And we realized that, look, socks is the in thing.
Since 2009, when the company made the decision to focus on being a one-stop shop for school clothing, they have, in addition to making socks, been making uniforms on order.
The idea is that from the moment a child is born, the preparation to go to school is inbuilt, and then the child goes to school, and children are being born every day, and so the business is likely to keep growing, and then the opportunity to grow the business remains there. And if you are focused, tenacious, you will understand that that business will never go out of season.
To encourage and assist Mr. Adewale in living her dreams, she today enjoys the facility of the Bank of Industry.
we had a strategic meeting with the board, saw what was necessary for us to grow the business,